You know, we live in a time where of secularization, and I think it's important to remember that 80–90% of the world's population still identifies itself with one or another of these great traditions. What that tells me is that these religions must be doing something right, that they have had this tremendous impact, and I know that they're all flawed traditions too, that they make terrible mistakes, that they do some terrible things, but over the long run, it's like these traditions have brought great comfort and direction and love into their lives of countless numbers of people over the last 2.5 millennia that they've been around. Ignorance. If you know someone in these other traditions or other than your own tradition, you won't have those kinds of attitudes, negative attitudes towards that tradition. You know, and I just think people they just don't know, right? I mean, you know, when Donald Trump says these stupid things, you know, about Muslims.
We had the pre-World Trade Center, remember, you know, a lot of people forget now. They tried to blow it up twice.
You know, they're just stupid things. They're ignorant things. They're not based on any knowledge of this tradition or people in this tradition. It's just stupidity. And what's the scary thing, you see, is that kind of ignorance will resonate with people. Who will it resonate with? People who are fearful about, you know, what's going on in our world and think, oh yeah, if we could just get rid of those people, then everything would be fine. When it becomes interpersonal, that in itself will bring you to a different place. I find that what's really essential in terms of the study of religion and all of these different religious communities is having some direct experiential contact with those communities rather than just thinking about them abstractly. Because when you have that contact, then the issue of human rights just automatically comes to the fore, right? Because you realize, you know, we all grow up with kind of prejudices, misunderstandings about other people, near or far, and what can break that, and I think really the only thing that really breaks that is having some direct experience of people in those communities. And you find out the dissonance between those preconceptions that you have and how these people actually live and what they believe and what they practice and what they do and so on and so forth. What do you need to be involved in interfaith dialogue? And my answer is always very simple. You need to be open and you need to listen. And you need to listen. And you need to listen. Not just for a few seconds, not just for one evening, but over and over and over again, till you begin to sort of see deeply enough into that other tradition so that you can start to understand it as they understand it. And once you do that, you build a relationship of trust between yourself and that community that you it really opens up the possibility of talking with them about every aspect of their tradition, and engaging them often in a later way in a very critical kind of discourse about their tradition. Is that when you approach these traditions and they have a sense that you've come not to show them up, to point out their failings, but to listen to them and to learn from them, that's treating them justly. And they respond to that very positively. And so